Hi, I'm Katie and I'm a commissioning editor at Headline Publishing. I actually just don't care about what stones they used to use back in time. I really rep them so hard.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking at editorial. Welcome back to another interview with a publishing professional. Today we have Katie Packer, who is a commissioning editor at Headline Publishing.
Hi, I'm Katie and I'm a commissioning editor at Headline Publishing. I actually live by two mottos, and those two mottos are fake it till you make it and also ask forgiveness, not permission. I think sometimes we can not have all the confidence, and so fake it till you make it just really makes me feel like I can do this, I got this, I might not know everything but I got it. And forgiveness, not permission is definitely, I think sometimes to push ahead you've got to be a little bit confident in yourself and you've got to push yourself. So that's my second motto. If I could bring back any fashion trend, I don't know, I know what fashion trend I would never bring back, and it's the low-rise jeans, because I don't have a stomach for that. I've never had a stomach for that, and I'm very glad that's in the past. One that I might bring back though, maybe lots of jewellery, chains, big earrings. I don't know if that's ever gone away, but I want it here forever. I work as a commissioning editor and my day-to-day job can vary hugely daily. I am constantly working on books that we've got coming out that year, so I might be doing editing for those, I might be doing admin for those, I might be communicating with authors and agents for those, but then at the same time we're looking for buying books for the coming years. So I'll be working on pitches, I'll be speaking to agents, making sure that they're sending me the best stuff. Always send me the best stuff, guys. There's also a lot of email answering, there's a lot of meetings that go on, so I'll be constantly attending meetings like the covers meeting where we look at the upcoming covers for books. I'll be attending meetings like acquisitions where we talk about the books we might want to buy. I'll be attending sales, marketing, publicity meetings where I'm sort of project managing and keeping an eye on what my books are doing. So I came out of uni, I was not sure at all what I wanted to do. I did English at uni, I liked books a lot, but I also worked a lot in radio throughout my whole uni career. So I was kind of tossing up do I want to go and do radio or presenting, or do I want to go and do books? In the end I was like, nah, radio is a myth, I'm never going to get in. I don't believe that now, but at the time I felt like that. So I thought, let me go and try this books thing. I didn't really know anything about publishing at the time, and I hadn't really heard about it from young. So I applied for a lot of internships, a lot of work experience. I didn't get a lot. And then I applied for an internship at Hachette, which was a 2-month internship, and I got on, and it was basically a 2-month internship with Hachette Children's, and I got to go through all the different departments and really figure out what I wanted to do within publishing. It was really beneficial, and I'm so glad I got in that way. My background doesn't really involve that many books. My dad is a plumber, my mum works as an administrator for an before and after school club, but I always loved reading. I always used to steal my mum's adult books when she'd be reading that might be have a bit of a sex scene in there, so I always used to steal those and read them, and I think that's what really kicked off my passion for reading, which is kind of embarrassing to think now. But I also loved me some Jacqueline Wilson, I loved me some Mallory Blackman, and those are the books that I really remember kind of getting my interest into the literary book world. I actually applied to university to do English and drama, and then I got there and I was like, I can't act, so let me do something else. So I changed it to English and history, and I did English and history for my first year, and then I was like, I actually just don't care about what stones they used to use back in time. So I thought, let me just do English. I love reading and I like the course. So I stayed on and just did English, and I did a lot of work behind the scenes as well. I ran my student radio throughout uni. I also was working full-time throughout school and uni. I also worked for National Citizen Service, where I mentored 10 to 11, 15, 16-year-olds for a whole summer, and that was the best experience ever. I loved it so much. Before lockdown, I had a lush office space. We had an amazing office in Blackfriars. I remember the first time I walked in there, I thought I had made it. It was like big London open plan office. I was like, I am full like Devil Wears Prada, Anne Hathaway entering in when she comes and has the different outfits like Gucci and Chanel. That's how I felt. And now I work at my dad's house on the dining room table. So it's a bit different. My favourite part of the job would definitely have to be building relationships with authors. I think to help someone on their creative journey and to like empower them and to build them into a published author is such a privilege, and I never really quite realised how important and exciting that is for the world. So definitely building these relationships, and a lot of my authors are just my mates now. They're just so cool and I'm just so proud of them, and it's like being like a proud parent watching their careers grow and develop. The most challenging part of my job, I would say it's just really hard to sometimes keep up with all the different projects you've got going on, especially when you're project managing all of them. And there's a lot of intricate detail that you have to think about when you're publishing their books. Meetings I usually have in a week. One of the main meetings is called the acquisitions meeting, and that is basically where all the editors come and pitch the books that they want to buy to the rest of the team. So you'll be pitching to the MD, the publicity director, the sales director, the finance people, the marketing people. You'll be pitching to literally everyone, and you've got to convince them that your book is the one. So it's quite high pressure, but it's also exciting, and it's also really rewarding when people love your idea and they want you to run with it. The other meetings we have are also covers meetings. We have feedback meetings where sales and marketing PR feedback to the editorial team about their campaign plans. We have like team meetings to discuss books coming up and our projects. We'll have task forces. I'll have meetings with agents in my diary. I'll have meetings with my authors in my diary. So there's plenty to get on with. The person I contact most often, definitely now, is my manager Sarah, because I think sometimes you're working in a bit of a void. Also, you work really independently as an editor and you're sort of getting on with your projects. It's definitely got harder working from home because it's hard. You don't feel necessarily like you can interrupt people's working. So we do have really regular catch-ups to basically see that I'm not doing a madness and that I am getting on with things okay. In my opinion, I think editorial teams and all teams thrive when you have lots of different skill sets within the team. So I wouldn't say there's like a specific skill set you need to have, because I think you can do it no matter who you are. Obviously, you have to love the written word, you have to love editing, you have to have I can't say that I have organisation, so I don't really feel like I can say this, but some organisation, some time management, some prioritisation skills, communication skills, just your bog standard skill set really. And then the best thing is when people bring different perspectives, voices and everything in, and that really is what creates an exciting and diverse team basically. One thing I think people don't know about my job is that it's not reading and editing all day. I wish it was that sometimes. I wish I had the time to do that, but realistically we are doing a lot aside from that. Our days are full with even that put to one side. So the time to read submissions and edit actually sometimes has to come out of your own time, because it's a lot of work to add into a day and it takes up a lot of time. Another thing that people don't know about my job, I would say, is the sort of business side, that it is like running a small company. It's quite entrepreneurial really in publishing your own books, because you have to go and find the author. Well, for me personally, I go and find the authors, I'll find the talent, I'll try and come up with the ideas too, I'll put the two together. So it is quite, it builds your entrepreneurial thinking a lot, and I think a lot of people don't know that about my job. An interesting thing about my company is that under Hachette, there's a lot of different companies working in a federal structure. So there might be an equivalent me over at Orion, at Little Brown, and we'll be competing against each other. So editors within Hachette compete against each other for buying books. And I think that's quite cool. It definitely builds competition and it builds growth, and I like it, to be honest. And I like meeting my equivalents and making friends with them, to be honest. An interesting story of what I've done at work. So when I kind of first started out as an assistant editor, I was listening to a podcast called The Receipts Podcast that I absolutely loved. And I remember in the interview for that assistant editor job, I came in and they were like, what do you want to publish? And I said, I want a book by The Receipts Podcast. I love them. And I really, really rep them so hard. So I reached out to them and I reached out to Talani and we had a meeting, and it wasn't quite the right time. They hadn't even signed their deal with Spotify yet. They were still building as a brand. So we kind of had the conversation and then left it for a while. I'd say it was probably about 2 years later. I got in touch with the agent and she said they're ready to take some pictures and see what ideas you might have for a book for them. So I went to them and I basically pitched this idea for their book, and I said, you know, I think you should all write about this. I think you would smash it. I think it's going to be great for your fans. As a fan. So yeah, from there we started the conversation again, and now I'm publishing them this year, and it's called Keep the Receipts, 3 women, real talk, no filter, and it's so exciting. I think it's going to be huge, and they are all super talented and I love them. It's great. Some common career paths after my role, the standard would be senior commissioning editor to editorial director to publishing director, I think, to like, sometimes you could go a different route and be like an editor at large, which sounds really cool. But I think that is very classic, and some people would like to move across. Some people, you know, might do a stint in publicity and then become join editorial, and some people might leave editorial to go and do another job in like a media creative industry. And honestly, I think anything goes. I think the more variety in your career path can be such a benefit to you. It can help you create new ideas, and I think ideas are currency in this industry, and you want to be able to create as much as possible. One thing I've learned about the publishing industry is that it is a very old and historical institution that has been around for a very, very long time, and that means sometimes it can be slow to make a change and mix things up a bit. But I've definitely seen some positive moves recently, and which I'm really excited about. So I think it's changing for the better. One thing I don't know about publishing, I would definitely say some of the like more nitty-gritty like admin data stuff. Like, I'm not a data person, and there's lots of things that go on behind the scenes for like Amazon and metadata that honestly I kind of get, but it's quite complex and detailed. So the people that work in those areas, like, shout out to you for knowing all of that. My advice for someone wanting to get into an editorial role or my role, like a commissioning editor, I would say to you that confidence is key. Like, to have confidence in what you bring, in your abilities. We're always looking, I think we always need something new. That's how we get lots of different books. That's how we make this industry more representative. So like, bring the full you. Also, I would say ideas are currency, and I will say that again and again and again, because books come from ideas. So if you're able to bring some yourself, then that is entrepreneurial, that is having a business mindset, and that is meaning that you are going to be able to provide profit to the business. One thing I would say about wanting to get into a role as mine is to love reading, but also have the capacity to read when you're not even feeling like it, because believe me, sometimes you don't feel like it. So wanting to be a part of the whole process means to have that ability. Firstly, all of the books I publish, just joking, I'm not joking. The book for me that I love so much has to be Khalid Housseni, 1,000 Splendid Suns. I feel like everyone says that, but that man knows how to write a book. He's just a wordsmith of our times, and I'm obsessed with his books. And also, one book you should read. Colour. Thank you for listening to me. I really appreciate it. I hope I have given you some advice or inspiration. Always feel free to drop me a DM or come chat to me. I am just willing to help anyone who's interested in getting into this industry.
Thanks so much for watching. Hope you learned something. I'm leaving all of Katie's details in the description below.